What's up, Playground? Welcome to your shadow work series. I'm about to have so much fun because I'm releasing 22 episodes all about the inner shadows. I'm covering the ins and outs of shadow work and how to really commit to the pathway to your greatest liberation. How can you heal through the perfectionism, the people pleasing, the self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, the not good enoughness, the toxic behaviors, the lack of boundaries, all the different things that keep percolating in your healing journey. We're getting into it in the shadow work series. And I'm getting pretty excited to talk to you about shadow work in a deeper way instead of just saying, oh, here's the general idea of shadow work and here's kind of like the surface level. I really want to be able to get deeper with you about some of the very common things that happen when you're experiencing shadow work, how to move through these things yourself, and also some of the things that you might not know to look out for when you're doing your shadow work if you're, already in it. And this is coming from my own experience of doing my own shadow work throughout the years, and I continue to. This is not something that ever really goes away. And I'm also pulling my experience from working with clients over the last 10 years, mentees, mentorships, masterminds, breathwork facilitator trainings, and all the different things that I have my hands in. I'm pulling my experience from working with people in their shadows over a course of a decade, which is pretty insane to say. Now, in this series, I'm going to be dropping a chunk of episodes all at once. So you'll kind of be able to binge through them. And a lot of the episodes are going to be non-chronological. So you don't really need to know one thing before the other. You can experience all of these episodes in different ways. If something calls to you more than the other, you can kind of switch the order because there will be over 22 episodes that are coming out. Okay, did you hear me? There's 22 episodes that are coming out. Now, I haven't recorded these episodes, but I do know the topics that I want to talk to. And I'm like, is it 22? Is it 50? So we'll see. We'll see how long this series ends up coming out. But I do hope that you have hit the subscribe button so that you're able to get a notification as soon as the episodes drop. And I'd love for you to come interact with me on Instagram as well. I'll probably be creating some reels promoting the episodes, but I also have a little IG channel that you can join. It's called Healing Arts Collective. And you can also, message me in there and talk about, hey, I really resonated with this, or this thing triggered me, or this thing really brought up a memory. You're welcome to interact as we're, experiencing all of this information together. Now, for the first part of the series, I wanted to break down for you what the heck shadow work is. And if you've been listening to the Playground podcast, you know that I've talked to you about shadow work here and there. I've made a couple of episodes about shadow work as well. So a lot of it might be repeat information, but long story short, shadow work is basically all the parts of you that you just don't want to face. Okay. It's the darkness. It's the toxic parts of you. It's the part that is not the love and light. It's not the part that feels good oftentimes, but it is the work that allows you to have your greatest breakthroughs, your greatest awarenesses, your greatest liberations. And the people who are facing their shadows, not all at once, because that can be a lot, but who are willing to face their shadow, come out on the other side with such a greater sense of self-mastery, and a lot more emotional intelligence than folks who are just avoiding their shit. Okay. And the thing about shadow work is that a lot of us don't actually know that we need to do shadow work. We are doing things like affirmations and, tapping and a lot of different somatic movement work. And I'm not knocking any of those things because I'm a proponent of all of those things. And also there's a part of the integration process that often is missing when we're in the healing space. So shadows is like the nasty stuff. Sometimes you do have to go through and pick around the trauma and pick around the past and pick around the childhood and pick around the neglect and pick around the abandonment and pick around the rejection. And all of these things actually inform you healing in this present moment. Because sometimes we're just like, well, I'm an adult. Why is it going to matter that this thing that I experienced when I was 8 years old, or this thing at eighth grade, or, in college, what does that matter? Why do I have to relive that? And the point of it being is that you don't actually need to relive everything, but there are certain things that happened in your past that inform the way that you are in this present moment. So part of doing the shadow work is going back in time, not literally, but sometimes if we're doing quantum healing, sometimes in breath work, you can do time travel and, meet your inner child. And there's so many different timeline work that can happen. But shadow work basically says, can I face the parts of me that I'm hiding? Is there a way for me to deal with some of the uncomfortable or discomfortable, the discomfort of something that I experienced in my past? Okay. And so for many people, it might not be this like big trauma or like this big event in your life that is a very obvious thing that you're trying to go back and reconcile. For some, it's very subtle things that have happened, certain behaviors of caretakers or parents, certain ways that your friendships manifested or didn't manifest, or certain things that you experienced as a in your childhood or in schoolhood. There's so many different nuanced things that may have happened that inform the way that you are today. So many of us, we just want to like steamroll ourselves. We're just like, okay, well, I need to just get over it and just move forward. And the truth is like, yeah, that is a pathway. And for some, it works. But oftentimes when you're steamrolling experiences and information, those things come back. They bite you on the ass at a later point. They come back and they repeat. You have to go through the patterns over and over again. And it's like same shit, different toilet. You know what I mean? Like it's the same shit that keeps coming back over and over again. And it doesn't allow you to be liberated in your greatest manner. It doesn't let you to be free from that pattern, that thought, that circumstance, or a person. It kind of just repeats. It has a different face and a different time. You're much older. You're living a different place, but the same things start to keep coming back over and over again. And so a lot of the shadow work, and there's many different schools of thoughts that think about shadow work in many different ways. So I'll give you some vocabulary word, but I really do want to stick to like our vocabulary here, which is shadow work is also subconscious healing too. It's all the things that you're not aware of necessarily. And sometimes there's information and memories that are suppressed so that you're not really able to pull those memory up to the surface. They're kind of just like suppressed by your psyche, and your nervous system basically says, we're not going to experience these memories because we're safer without these memories. Okay. And I'm wildly oversimplifying all of this language, but essentially your body says it's actually better for me not to go experience these memories because it's uncomfortable, or I'm gonna find something that like is really going to throw me for a loop right now, and I just don't have time for that. Okay. Or I don't have the emotional capacity for that. So shadow work is a hero's journey. You know what I mean? Like it really is not for the weak. And the emotions that come up, the awareness that you go through, the world that breaks apart in order for it to rebuild in a different way, it's actually a lot, and oftentimes, and I'm saying this, from myself as me doing my own shadow work throughout the years and currently and presently and for the future as well. And also, as I mentioned, the folks that I hold space for who are doing shadow work with me, whether they're healing their perfectionism, their self-doubt, their, trauma, or whatever it is that we're working on together, there is a part of them that is afraid to do the work. There's a part of them that says like, I actually know that my world is going to change. The way that I see myself and the way that I have crafted and curated this memories, like things are going to change for me, and I just will not be the same after that. And that is a very terrifying thought. You know what I mean? Especially if you're somebody who likes to control, or you like to feel like you want to have, a sense of control over something, knowing that something's going to break, like your worldview is going to break, like that shit is scary. So I'm going to just preface all of this by saying that shadow work is not for the weak. And this is why a lot of people will not do it. You know what I mean? Because hard things are hard. And if it were easy, then everybody would do it. Like everybody would be out here healing and stuff like that. So the fact that you're listening to this episode, the fact that you're committing to listen to this Inner Shadows series, I'm so in love with the work that you've done already for yourself, the work that you will do for yourself, and the work that you will amplify for others because you are doing the work. They're going to see you and they're going to say, hey, what is that? Can I have some of this? And then they'll know what's up. Okay. So friend, go ahead and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And just remember, the world is your playground. And until next time, I will catch you soon.